I have at least 6 friends wondering how to do a poor man's version of sacrificing for Pulse.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough for those with small bags, but
Yeah.
at least you're gonna get some Pulse.
So actually, there's something mean whales were talking about, off air and stuff. When it came down to it, basically you're really incentivized, especially if you're a small bag, not to have have a bunch of wallets. You basically have to have everything on one wallet to make sure you're kind of the first in the queue. So you're kind of puffed up in what, like, obviously there's some whales in Hex and there's some people that just have multiple wallets where they can just can afford to have multiples. And they still do. You still take a bit of an L in terms of coins. I'm kind of guessing if you have multiple coins, you probably over time you're probably reducing your pulse position by probably 15 to 20%, probably, because not having it all in one. But some people have their hex stakes separated on multiple wallets, so that either way they have to do it anyway. They're kind of fucked on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the most interesting thing about everything that I got from what was on the draft, right? Because it's still a draft apparently, so be wary of cementing anything, right? Because you don't know how things can change. But sorry,
that's okay.
The most important thing that stood out was how he wrote, well, that address is going to be accounted, right? Like independently, like each address is going to be counted independently. So that's when you look at the way everything else is laid out, then that's how you know that you need to put your bullets all in one gun and not try to diversify your wallets.
Right. And I think maybe the reason they did that is so they could tell who's who, how many actual people are in, where, like, I know in Hex, in the beginning, there was a lot of people making multiple wallets, and you actually had there's a point in time when you had a lot of sharks turn into like a ton of dolphins, wallets and stuff like that. So, like, I actually think that if you look at Hex right now in terms of the dolphins to the sharks, probably divide that by 2 of real people.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not as many people as you think it is. The squids is actual real, like, legitimately squids and turtles are real people. For them, there's no bots. I mean,
yeah. Because I mean, who was breaking down $1,000 back in the day, right?
Right. Because anyone that was really long time ago, they probably even if you didn't have that much money, you still could have got like 1,000 or 500, like, for the most part, up until like 5 months into Hex, you still could have got into it. You still could have got that, and then I think it was around 7 months in when it started getting hard. It started getting a little bit. You still could do it. You could still do it really easily, but it's like it took a little commitment, basically. And then after that
was already by June. So the May pump had already happened. The April May pumps had already happened. So
right.
That was already like 0.5-0.6% category already at that time frame.
Yeah, the full list hasn't the full list hasn't been released just yet. That'll probably be closer to the day. If you have all your RC20 tokens on a treasure, do you still get the airdrop? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, because it's by the sacrifice address. So if you're using the address that's on that treasure to make a sacrifice, then it's going to count for that.
Yeah, so that's perfectly fine. I fully recommend a treasure, but if you have a smaller amount and you just have a MetaMask, that's perfectly fine. A MetaMask is fine. Just obviously just do your safety stuff. Eventually, do get a treasure and link your accounts to protect your stuff. But I fucking hate NanoS. I always knew something about NanoS always kind of fucked my, like, I didn't like it, and time has proven me right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of anything centralized. Like, I got the right mind to like create my own wallet or whatever, because I just don't like a lot of the wallets and how they're built, and I don't really feel like they take advantage of a lot of the technology that's available, because they really try to keep you tied to like the internet. You know what I mean? And there's ways to go about setting up things that you're not actually doing everything like. So MetaMask, right? Everything through the browser. You could literally create a switch and disconnect it from the internet. Why don't they do that?
Right. And they're starting to sort of do some. The first thing I've ever seen MetaMask starting to do is like renaming some of the stuff to, like, instead of seed phrase, super secret password. You should not tell people. That's literally what, like, you saw that shit up there?
Yeah, I saw that little pop up. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I was like, okay, I guess they're starting to see what the problem is here.
Super duper no go.
Yeah, it was funny. That was funny.
So there probably there should be a kill switch. Like there should be a kill switch. So that like this is some safety stuff you could do with like a MetaMask is like connected websites. Just hit the trash can on when
there's
you hit
a website for that actually. I think it's revoke.cash. Let me check.
Yeah, please, you throw it in the chat. Yeah, I've been doing it manually like a grandpa for all these years.
Yeah, let me make sure this is the one. I'm pretty sure this is the site.
Eat Lift program. Oh, shout out the Eat Lift program, man.
Yep.
MetaMask has some updates coming. Cool.
So
oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually at let's see.
Let's break 9 cents.
There we go. 8 point. I mean, it's interesting because there's so many people with liquid balances out there that are sizable. But the thing about it is like the market just doesn't care. Like this thing just trades like a beast, man.
Yeah, it goes down tops a cent and a half at most, and then gets bought up, and then goes back up. It's right now like Hex ain't going down right now. No, once we really get deep into it, then sure there could be some stuff that could happen. What up, Motley? But
Motley.
Yeah, I mean anyone that's taken the course already knows what I've been talking about when it comes to Pulse and stuff in terms of like what I think is going to happen on certain days. But there's still could like you even on days where there could be a crash, there could be a huge rebound and crash back. Like there's just so much. Like it's so interesting now. Like 3 extra days for the sacrifice chamber is like that's a lot of Hex getting off the market with those 3 extra days. It's millions and millions of Hex.
I was thinking, like my initial thought was like, okay, so you need all your bullets in one gun, check. But now I'm like really thinking this is a long time for people to sacrifice coins. So what like you got to definitely think day 3 or at least not day 1. But if everybody's thinking the same, what are you going to do? Right. So you're everybody's going to kind of be like, well, what the fuck? Because nobody's going to want to go day 1.
Yeah, I'm still gonna throw some day 1. I mean, I'm I'm gonna play. I play, but I have a strategy for it. Like there's basically like I'll say this out. Like basically half of the coins I'm gonna sacrifice are between the first 3 days. I think there's actually gonna be. I personally think there's gonna be some price appreciation in the Hex price for the rest of the days as well. Because what's gonna happen is the market dynamics change. All the people, like all the whales, are gonna want to put on the first 3 days. They're gonna like, whoa. Yeah. And then from there, you just have a bunch of normal people. And then
let's talk about that because the whales are actually the only group that are incentivized to go in day 1.
Right.
Because nobody else is gonna really achieve the max rewards. Right, because their address isn't gonna stand out in the pool, and in order to reach those maximum number of bonus points, you need to be sizable in the pool. You need to stand out. So that means that you're not gonna get the 2.5x on your dollar value based on your wallet size if you don't stand out in that pool. So it could be beneficial for folks to wait. Because Hex could do a 2.5x. It easily does 5x's.
The bonuses are not as big as I thought they were. Because like I was surprised that they didn't go with, because I was somebody's talking about this in the chats, in the PulseChain chats, talking about podium prizes. So I was thinking maybe the top 10 in like there's a podium, there's the 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, 3 place 1, 2, 3, and then some other ones, right? So where the top 3 whales would be fighting against each other trying to get those top spots because it was so much more extra Hex on top of the bonuses. Like it could have been the top 3 spots get a decent amount, and then the 4 to 10s also get quite a lot. But it's something like, obviously it's like you don't want, like there's a way to kind of put it down there, but like what you basically want is the whales to fucking like ape in all their Hex, get all that Hex out of their hands. Yeah,
I get that. It's funny. When we first started talking about game theory and whatnot, one of my ideas was, well, we can give X type of bonus to whales, right? But what we could do or could have done is scale down the rewards for, because what I was thinking, like take 10%, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like take 10% or 5% of whatever or no, it was take 10%, split the 10% into 5% for the whales, or something like that, and then you would take like the remaining 5%. Oh no, 5% for what the hell was I thinking? Let's forget the other 5%.
Right.
The main 5% was gonna be split like 3% amongst the bottom, and then like the 2% amongst the top, right? And the tops would be like whales to whatever comes under whales, and then dolphins, and then below would divide that 3%, right? Like that's what I was thinking. Because then that's like a sliding scale in terms of rewards, right? But what's interesting is that I think the reason that he went with the small bonuses is because he probably doesn't see, and maybe he's underestimating, and by he I mean Richard. Maybe he doesn't see the market jumping in the first 17 days to the tune of achieving that 10,000x in terms of supply. So maybe that's why he didn't really go gun ho with the rewards. You know what I mean? Because you still have to achieve that 10,000x supply that he's trying to attain.
Right. So it kind of helps. Basically, it really helps anybody who like it's actually in your bench. Even I mean, I don't want to like. I mean, it's even worth even probably throwing $100 into the sacrifice chamber or the sacrifice because on that rebasing up, you'll get a lot more coins than you would have got anyway.
Oh
if it didn't have that rebase, because it's if let's just say it's undersubscribed. So okay, just to let you guys know. So if not enough people buy in, where there's 10,000 X more.
I didn't break it down. My bad.
Yeah, the 10,000 X supply. So let's just say, as an example in dollars, let's just say they need $100 million to have the supply be 10,000 times bigger than Ethereum. So, but let's just say there's 50 million. What will happen is you'll just get double your coins as a bonus because they'll inflate it up to 10 because they want the total supply of PulseChain to be 10,000 times larger than the current supply of Ethereum. So it'll be probably somewhere between 1.5 to 1.7 trillion Pulse tokens.
Man, that shit is gonna be so gangster.
Yeah.
We're gonna be so early once again, and man,